Okay, everyone, we are live and we're in the right place. So I'm going to wait for just a few minutes because I found out that I was actually on the wrong Facebook page when I hit live. And so don't count me as the top technology person. I think I'm okay at tech, but this isn't very good. So I had a crowd following me on the wrong page. So we're going to hope that they make it over to USANA United and that they're able to join us. So I'm going to wait for just a couple minutes. Things were a little chaotic this morning. And so okay, so someone's waving at me. Let's hope that's on this site. Again, this is USANA United, Finish Strong, Friday morning, and we're excited. We're excited about the topic. We're excited to be here. Okay, looks like I am in the right place, and we do have people that are in the room. And just for your time's sake, I am going to go ahead and begin. I'm going to give everybody maybe 2 minutes to find their way over here. Again, we had a crowd watching in the wrong place, so I apologize. And we're really grateful for USANA United USA. We're really grateful for the administrators who have founded this, put this together, worked so hard for us. So applause and gratitude to them. And good morning to all. So I'm in Cody right now. I live both in Cody, Wyoming and in Newport Beach, California. My home, where I raise the kids, is here in Cody. And I use it as an Airbnb, VRBO guest house while I'm here. So when it's full, I tent camp. And that's actually where I'm at in my life at this moment, is that I am doing a tent camping. I have a 9-year-old adventure partner with me and my 2 puppies. And my children who are grown are all over the place and are not with me right now. But we have had so much fun. Then in the winters, because of USANA, we have all been able to move different directions, and many of us are settled now in Southern California. And so I spend my winters there. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a moment to get everyone on. I did put a little bit of my background for you, for all of the teams that don't know me, and you're going to be learning. I'm a single mom, 6 children. I wasn't always a single mom, just ended up a single mother when the last child was born. And 3 adopted, 3 natural, beautiful miracle family. And I ended up in Cody, Wyoming, kind of upside down, floundering, little 8,000 person town, and had to have a business that would allow me to stay home, raise my children, continue to homeschool, which I had been doing for quite a few years, and to raise my children victoriously, not as a poverty-stricken, upside-down single mom. And USANA was an answer to 6 months of prayer, and I was literally, in my opinion, the nobody. So if that's you, if you feel like there's no way you're going to ever make it in this business, I'm here to tell you, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Okay, we're going to talk about Finish Strong, and we're going to begin. And Brant, is there a recording of any kind that I'm supposed to hit? My tech expert here. Or am I good? I'm going to assume I'm good unless you panic and tell me I'm not. So bullet point number 1, we're going to have 5 bullet points. They're going to be fast. They're food for thought for you. If you're after just a little bit of success in USANA, or if you're after the big success, freedom in every possible sense of that word, then I want you to take these and work with these words or terms or stories. So the first one is actually that Fridays are not, and this is a term that may have already been used, but I was taught by 4-star diamond Rick Young in a very strong visual that Friday is crank night, not date night. That you date on Saturday night, you play all weekend if you want to, but Friday is finish out your business. Talk about finish strong. So my first bullet point is how to role model that. And that was role modeled for me in a way that I will never forget. and it was unusual. It's not your normal weekly finished business. This was a four-star diamond who was a diamond at the time, coming in to do a talk. I was hosting him in Billings, Montana. He was a diamond. I was probably a silver. And we had him in to speak on a Saturday. And so it's Friday night, and he's spending the night with my family, my friends that were there, one of my leaders, and my family was all there. And he was in week 4 of taking one of his people gold director. And it was a team effort. And he went into my distributor's office, and I went in and we closed the door. Maybe there were a couple other people watching this, but it never left me how you think of Fridays. Whether you're in a run or you're just finishing your business for Friday, VIP, if you're not a gold and above, you might not know about VIP, but VIP is our personal assistants. There's probably 20 of them that work for the golds and aboves, and they have a special phone line, and they work just to help us to lead and do business. And so at 9 o'clock Mountain Time, he got on with VIP. That run was not finished. Now at that time, just for your knowledge, it was 5,000 points up both sides of your 001 for 4 weeks in a row. It was much more difficult to get to gold. And he had completed with his team member for 3 weeks. And we're in week 4. It's Friday night. It's closing time at USANA phone lines and USANA headquarters. It's 9 o'clock. He gets one of his favorite VIP reps on the phone with him, and they're on a 4-way. So he's got VIP who does not let him down, does not let him go for 2 hours. And he is in that office where he's going to be speaking in a hotel the next day. He's not prepping. He's not partying. He's running someone to gold. And on the other line is the new gold director, and then they are 3-weighing through him to family members and friends that have never heard of USANA. It's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night Mountain Time, and they're making phone calls to finish this run to people that have never heard of USANA. I never ever got over that visual. I've never done that. It set the standard for finish strong on Friday. Are you kidding me? That man was a machine. He still is. He's a dear friend. Of course, he's now 4-star diamond. And he was a machine. They were talking to people. They were doing the Dr. Wentz story and sharing the power of USANA, sharing the health. And I remember his words, there's nothing to lose. There's nothing to lose. At the very worst, you're going to get the best health possible. And at the best, you're going to make some money. Maybe a lot. You know, people were buying business packages because they trusted their friend, the new gold director, and they trusted the words about USANA, because USANA is new and amazing to everyone who hears the words. They've never heard of anything this amazing. They've heard of our products, of other products like ours. They've heard of businesses. They've never heard of the integrity and the power of USANA. So when you're setting your week on my other 4 bullet points, please never forget this story. Yes, they took that man, gold director, before 12 o'clock, midnight, Mountain Time, and they had many new associates that night from 9 to 12. And so you might not want to run that fast or that hard. You might not want to work that hard. You might not want to set your Friday night date nights up like that. But I'm going to tell you, Friday is finish it. It finishes strong no matter what time or where you are in your story. Now, point number 2. So that point number 1 was Friday is crank night, not date night. And if you have to do it in the afternoon, then you do it in the afternoon. Number 2 is quotas. We don't use that word at USANA. It's a retail word. It's a store word. And what's really interesting about that is we can't finish strong if we never started. If you don't have a plan of some kind, you can't finish strong. It's Friday. Right now, today, if you have done no business this week or last week or the week before, you can't finish business today. There isn't anything to finish. So even in the retail world, I always felt badly because my kids worked for retail when they were young. And even some of the most famous stores, my favorite store all the clothing that I wear, one of those stores, they set quotas. And that means that's a very underpaid clerk that's waiting on you when you walk in the store. And it's only walk-in business. They don't have any kind of contact with you any other time. And you're the clerk and they're walking in the store and you have set a quota. You have set individual quotas for your week, and the store has set quotas for their week, and they've been turned into corporate. And I always freaked out at it. It's like so much harder than what you and I do, because those quotas are all on whether it doesn't rain today or doesn't snow today. They don't have any control. They're trying to force sales to meet quotas that they have no control over. You and I are not doing that, but you must think, if everyone in the business world is setting quotas, why aren't we? Why aren't we setting on Saturday or Sunday or Monday? Why aren't we setting at least how many people we're going to talk to, or how many people we're going to have lunch with, or how many people we're going to do a presentation for, or how many people we're going to invite to sit down and talk or go to an event? We can't finish if we don't start. So your quotas have to be set, whatever that means for the week. In USANA, we talk goals, we talk numbers, we talk plans. It can be people, it can be meetings, it can be events, it can be numbers. But it has to be something. You have to set something that's a target. So we're going to call that quota a target. And you have to drive during the week. You have to drive towards that target. And then you can finish strong on Friday. So this conversation, if we are never beginning, then there's never a chance to finish. So I'm not saying walk away from your business this week. And today, if you didn't do anything, you could start setting up next week. And that's what I do on Fridays when I've had a crazy week and I have no control over my life, which happens to me often. And so whenever that little thing happens, so I'm running a guest house or whatever, and I don't have the same time slots, then I have to set for next week. And I have to set with vision. So I want you to write down the quotas, the targets, vision, and you must set and drive before you can finish. That's bullet point number 2. Bullet point number 3, I'm calling it the moment, the last call. The moment, the last call. You know, our legacy leaders and our executive foundational diamonds like Rick Young, they did business like pros. I'm going to tell you that when you see their names and you see them on stage and you know them as the foundational people, they were the ones here from the beginning. They were the ones that drove this 24 country business. They created this in the field. They were the ones that were driving this business. And I'm going to tell you that they taught me as a young little girl some solid foundational tips that we should never let up on. And the last call is one of those. And it doesn't matter whether it's the last contact you make with a person for the week or for your night, if it's the last business you do with USANA that day, or in our subject today, if it's the last thing you do for the week. And it's all about the last thing we do for the week for everything involved, everyone involved. The moment, and where that comes in, is this is emotional. If we're running our business like a business is going to have both numbers, targets, strong business principles, I want to move to the other side. It's going to have a lot of heart. It's going to have emotion. Our business is one that's going to have such passion, such purpose. That's why we're here. We're not here because there's no other companies or business to do out there. We're here because this one is for heart, for purpose. It's because we are called into this company and we all know it. It's just inside of our soul. And so with that said, I have heard for years and years that person standing on stage at international convention or a national event, speaking about that moment. In the days before all social media, it was that phone call. It was that I was just going along about my life, and suddenly this phone call happened. This moment changed my life forever. This moment changed my family's health forever. This moment changed my life's business and finances forever. And that happened to me, and it may have happened to you. And you're creating that moment with that call. So if you think too much in the opposite side of things, which is really that financial and numbers, we have to be there. We have to run our business like a professional. And we have to finish strong on Fridays like a professional. But I need you to also take a step over to the emotional side, because it's going to drive you to do what you're supposed to do. Most of us, numbers are only going to drive us when we're checking our checkbook and when we're setting goals. But numbers are not going to drive us to pick up the phone, to do those texts, because it's an emotional heart thing. And so when you have talked to someone during the week and you make that last call on Friday and you finish that, they have a new life started. It was that last call. It was that moment. And so I'm going to tell you that I think an easy way to look at your business is to think Saturdays, Mondays, invite. You're setting up your business, maybe even Friday night. Saturday, you've got a list of people that you want to work with. And you start on Monday inviting. Monday is invite and team. So if you've got a team already, it's team day. You do your team trainings, you do your team calls, you do your masterminding, you check on your team. Maybe you only have 2 or 3 people. You check on them, you inspire them, you get them motivated. You help them to do these things. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are presentations, consultations, time to sit down and spend with your clients. If it's social media, I don't care what you're doing. You must connect. And you must present. You've got to put that person into an opportunity to see USANA. Otherwise, we're going to be put in a bucket with every other product and company out there. And no one will ever know the difference. And you and I know the difference. And we know it's extraordinary difference. It's not a little bit. It's extraordinary, like off the planet, like no one can touch ever the USANA business and products. So with that knowledge, we're going to need to do something to show the client before we can finish them. They've got to see the difference. Otherwise, it's like blah, 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 noise in their heads. So I want us then on Friday to finalize. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you're talking to people, you're doing presentations, you're doing sit downs, you're doing consults, you're doing Zoom meetings, whatever that might be, and you're following up. Don't forget that's part of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You're following up. And those 3 days are following up the people you've been working with since Monday and the people that we didn't finish last week or the week before the week before. It's okay to carry those across. You've got a pipeline. It needs to be full at all times. But that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that's action. And then Friday, that is finalize. Finish strong. Go after it. Make those calls, help them to answer their questions, help them to know what they need to do to be part of USANA. And then I want you to think on that last call of how much you need these people to experience a change in health and a change in their family's health and a change in finances. You need it, but they need it more. So this is where you become very caring, very professional, and very concerned with let's finish it out. Let's get this done. Number 4, I want you to be very business savvy. Now, business savvy means that on Friday nights, my family has alarms set on our phones. Okay? We're checking numbers. This is years and years of this. We are checking numbers. We are checking with each other. We are texting. We are saying, okay, auto ship is this week. Don't forget to get yours changed. We're checking each other. We're an intimate family. We have a lot of us doing business, but that's where we start. And we're making sure if anybody in the family needs help with a client, did you get your preferred customer? Did you get that changed? Did you get that text from so-and-so that we needed to fix something with VIP? We need to do that before the day's over, before 9 o'clock Mountain. We're looking at team. We're texting team. We're saying, hey, did you finalize, if I did a 3-way with one of my leaders, I'm not the one finalizing their client that I talked to, but I don't want to let that go. So it's, did you finalize that person? Do you need help? Do you want a phone call? And I might start this early, but our alarms are going off at night, at the end of the night. So you're working all day on Finish Strong, but by the end of the night, it's like, okay, who needs what? Like, it's like a run. It's like the finishing time of the week. Checking our own auto orders, checking our, yes, we've checked auto orders on Wednesday. We're checking with our new clients. Yes, that's another subject. I'm talking about end of the night, Friday night. I'm talking about don't leave one stone unturned. And then I'm talking about 2 subjects that I'm going to end with. In the business savvy, I want you to think about your own personal shopping. That's when you do it. You don't do it on Wednesday. You don't know what your numbers look like. You set your shopping up so that you do it Friday evening, because now you know where you need the help. Because the personal shopping, you have your own shopping center in every one of your business centers. So if you need it in 6 right, or if you need it in 11 left, or if you need it in 2 right, that's where you need it at that moment. That's how you just kind of move that check around with your own shopping. And USANA allows us to be our own customer. So that's when you have checked the pantry, you've got your food order ready, you've got your extra supplement orders ready, you've got orders for sampling or retailing, you've got those ready, you've got the Rev 3, you've counted how many Rev 3 cases you're going to need before the next pallet order comes out, or before you're going to be at Salt Lake sometime. You've got to have that. This is professional. We're going to use our own products. We're going to shop our own store. We're going to do it at the end of the day. We're going to move those numbers. We're going to get the best check out of that we can. So when I say that, if you're kind of new, you need to order where you get zigzag points. Everybody gets that opportunity to, if you've got 3 business centers, to zigzag. Get some points on number 3 and some points on number 1. Or maybe 6 and 4 and 3 and 2. I mean, we have zigzag opportunity. That's why you do your own shopping at the end of the evening on Friday night. My final number 5, final thought for your Finish Strong is generosity. Big one for me. And I feel that we need to consider part of our USANA numbers, generosity. So I'm not talking about your tithes to your church. I'm not talking about the help that you do in sending money to children around the world, True Health Foundation. All of those things are magnificent, and I think that all of you should do those. Great. I'm talking Finish Strong Friday. And I'm talking that there's an unsaid generosity that sneaks between leaders all over the world, and we all work on it. And so let me describe it. It's buying products for someone besides yourself, putting them in a strategic business point. Don't be business stupid, be business savvy, right? So we're generous, but this isn't the other generosity. This is our USANA opportunity to be generous, because all generosity comes back to you like a boomerang. It comes back tenfold. So I'm going to give you some examples. We have had an opportunity for a long time to buy USANAMals for CHF, and you got points for those, but because of different legal reasons, that isn't maybe going to continue. I think I saw an email about that. But how would we then think? How should you think about Finish Strong Friday and one moment of generosity? You think about your pastor. You think about a team member that did a magnificent job this week, and you want to say, great work. You can actually do a ship to them in your own business. You just go in and put their name and address in and use your credit card and ship them a bottle of Pure Rest. My favorite right now is actually the Tel Aviv mask because it's not very expensive. And so you can ship the, 3 of those for $21 plus the shipping. And, you can gain a few points. You might be able to do that every week. You might be able to do that to people that haven't tested it out and you really want to say thank you to. And another thing that you can do is look at the sampling that you want to do. That is generosity right there because you're giving something away. And yes, reciprocation, that's just one of those things. It just comes back to us. So we're not going to worry about that. We're going to say, who can I help? Generosity is all heart. It's all over here on this other side. It's all heart. And so you look and say, what single mom could not buy products this week? And I was working with her, but she couldn't buy anything. And my heart has been burdened for her all week long. So maybe your finish strong is you're going to put your money where your heart is, right? It's going to come back to you. So it's not like you're going to go broke because you gave something away. We all know that. We all know that generosity is critical and is part of what makes USANA so amazing, so blessed, so superb, is the amount of generosity that has been going to Children's Hunger Fund and True Health Foundation for years and years. And I know that it's created a generous USANA family. So at the end of the night, you have finished your clients, you have finished your customers, you have enrolled as many as you could, you've helped your team finish theirs, you've done the last call, you've picked up the phone when you didn't want to, that last moment, or text that last text. Phone's probably going to be better in this case. I know millennials don't use it, but sometimes we still do, right? Sometimes you can still have them reached. But sometimes you can text them and say, can we just talk just for a moment? And so then we've been business savvy. We've looked at auto orders for the last moment, and we've looked at all finishing for family and team. And we've done our personal shopping, and we're now going to be generous. And we're going to watch our numbers grow. But I want you to start today for next week because I want you to go back to number 2 and set those targets. Set, drive, finish. I love you all. I love USANA. I love the USANA family, and I love what we do. It's dear to my heart. I will stay around and answer questions for a few minutes if you'd like to ask any. I would also, I'll be answering during the day every chance I get. If those that are listening to the recording would like to ask questions, you're certainly welcome to. And I'll be back on Monday, July 2nd. After the kiddie parade around Cody, Wyoming. I'll be back about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'll be doing mindset on our industry that day. So come back at that time and have your teams watch this if you think it would be helpful. Okay, is there anything anyone would like to ask? Oh, thank you so much. Dana, hello. Great to see you. Renee, thank you so much. Great to have you on. Randy, I saw you on. Great to have you. Thank you, Kay. Thank you so much. Fantastic. Steve, fantastic. Do me a favor, Dana and Randy and Renee and Kay and Steve, Brittany, thank you. Give me a comment. I want to know of the 5 subjects that I just mentioned, which was the crank night, date night, story of Rick Young, the targets, the moment, last call, business savvy, personal, and generosity. What hit you the most? What weren't you doing that you're going to change? Is there anything that you'd like to just, have a little conversation about here? Oh, Randy, great. I hope you get to listen to the recording. Thank you so much. Sarah, hello. Great to have you on. Again, if something hits you that you're going to change, then make sure that you tell me about it so we can help other people as they're coming on and listening. More generosity. So Renee, thank you. That one's, I'm having to create in my own heart what that Friday night generosity is going to be now. And it's very exciting. I also love being able to move. If you're a 10% generosity person, I love to be able to use USANA to move that up. So for those of you that are generosity minded, it always comes back to you like tenfold, as I said. But I like the idea of moving, and USANA allowed me to move up in percentages and in what I could do, obviously, because of the different checks. Okay, so Kay, you're saying you've fallen away from the goal setting, and so that's going to be very helpful for you. That, you know, actually, as I was writing the training, Kay, I was thinking about myself, and I was thinking about how much I love Friday. I literally love this subject. I love to do business Fridays. I love the rush. I love the evening. I just love Finish Strong Fridays. And I've always used them because of Rick Young. And so I was talking to myself, Kay, about, you know, are you getting the most out of the front of your week so that Finish Strong is more fun? I mean, honestly, it's not very much fun if you don't get enough done during the rest of the week. Steve. Okay, so Steve wasn't aware of moving the personal shopping around. Oh, I love that statement. Thank you, because that's such an important one. So you have your like invisible business centers. Basically, they're I can't even remember the name of them. It's been so long since I discussed them, but they're your own personal shopping center, and they don't show up in the drawings anywhere, but they are under your 1 and 2 and 3, left and right, and then any new business centers that you receive, they all have one on the left and one on the right. So when you go in and you do your online shopping, and it says, where would you like to put this business? And it's just a shopping order. It's not your auto order. It's just a shopping cart personal order. And whether it's sent to you or someone else, you need to, whether you're paying or someone else is paying, because sometimes you're ordering for grandma and she wants to pay, but she doesn't want to be a customer yet for some weird reason. I don't have a lot of that, but that might be the case. All of those scenarios, you're going to see the same. You're in your hub, you're in your shopping cart. You're setting up the order, and as you go through, then it says, where would you like to place the business? Never, never, never place it in 001 personal unless you need the points that week for your business to operate. In other words, that's where my 200-point auto order has been since the day I started. So I don't ever put any of that in the 001. So Steve, I put it in the 2 or the 3. I have a lot of centers, so I'm always looking at where am I going to get the biggest zigzag, and that's where I'm going to place that. And so you can put in more than one order, Steve, on Friday night for yourself. Maybe you want supplements in one center, but you need the points for the shakes in a different center. You can do 2 different orders, and you can place them like that. Let me see who else had a question that I might answer here or talk about. Yes, Dana, one of my great team members. I love it so much, as I said, and I think that when, I'm going to tell a quick story. When some of us make the phone calls on Friday nights and on Friday afternoons, the people just got paid, and they've been thinking about what we've said all week long. It takes about 7 brain moments for them to get what we're doing. It's just the way our brains process things. So for a lot of people, it takes 7 or more contacts or connections. And so they're thinking about us, and they have payday, and they're like, oh, perfect timing. I think I'm getting a cold. I just got paid. I've got to prioritize my health. I've got to get some supplements, or I've got to change my weight. I mean, I've got to have those shakes in here. I'm just not eating right. So it's that moment where you can have that last conversation. And it's the only way to end your week. It's a high. It puts you on a high, which sets up your next week. Oh, okay, Randy, the generosity. Yes, absolutely, the generosity. Let me look at other questions or comments here that I can help you with. And I do appreciate your statements because they help other people. Okay, Randy, I saw both your messages. That's funny. Well, I think that generosity, one of our, like, I'm not going to give the amount because you'll know who it is, but one of the highest ranking USANA associate once mentioned to me that they give to about 40 pastors. And that changed the way I was looking at just my generosity. I have an account that's just for generosity, whether it's got a little bit or a bundle. So it's there. But what I was doing with it, I always have a lot of things I want to do with generosity. And so I had not thought about some of those last minute things that we might want to think about. And I see the higher the rankings in USANA, if you sat down and had a conversation with them, I think you would find why they're the highest ranking. I think you would find that their generosity is probably, it's blinding. It's shocking. It's astonishing. And they won't tell you, and I'm kind of guessing because I can see what they're doing. And I've watched my own walk, and I can see that we probably all ought to put that as the last thing we do on Friday night. So anyone else? Let me see. Interesting how many of us are noticing that that's a big one. I'll tell you something else on the generosity part. It came to me on my Ruby run. So I'll finish with this unless you have other questions. It came to me on my Ruby run. And at that point, we could buy animals for the children, for Children's Hunger Fund, and get points. And it was actually a very close point to dollar at that time. And I'm very grateful for that. I'm just head over heels in love with Children's Hunger Fund. And so it had my heartbeat. And a Crossline leader called me on my Ruby run, and it was week 3. And he said, Patti, don't miss the opportunity to make this count for the kids. And I went, what? I don't understand. And he said, don't miss the opportunity to make it count. So I made sure that part of my 4th week run went to the kids. And my team did the same. My team jumped in pretty full force, and everyone took generosity as probably the final way that I got to Ruby was through the generosity. And it's not the way to run your whole business. It's not even, it's not the right thing to do as the first 99%. But that last 1% of what we do during the week, yeah, we need to think about it. All right, let me see if there's anything else here on questions or comments before I say goodbye live. And let me see here. Yes, Judy. Yes, the personal shopping. Thank you. Yes. Habits that we do that we don't talk about a lot. And I think in the bottom, I find myself very balanced. I want you to find yourself here, everyone. I find myself very balanced in USANA, between the heart and the numbers. I think that if we're not running our numbers and we're not looking at strategy on every move of this board game, if we're all heart, we're just too wishy-washy. And if we're all numbers, we don't have enough emotion going in to do the work. So see if you can get some balance there and see if that will help too. Hang on, Steve. I'm going to look at your statement. Steve, I'm using USANA's trainings, but I think most leaders have their own trainings to go over and above. And I think the reason I said that, it's not that most of us do things that differently, because I'm very good friends with so many leaders, and I don't think we do things very differently. I think that the trainings that we do go deep, 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 deep on things that you just can't print enough books, etc., and do enough audios. So on my team, I actually have webinar trainings that are recorded, and that's what my team uses. And I try to go deep into some of these details because all these details are so critical. And I love USANA Unite. I'm going to end with this. I love, love, love what they are doing here, because this is where we're getting down deep. We're touching on little subjects that maybe are never touched on. So thank you. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you on Monday, July 2nd. Please watch every training that's on here. Learn from every leader, and pass it to your teams. Make sure your teams get to be on too. All right. Thank you so much. Love all of you. Bye-bye.